Spirit Island Sunday, River Surges in Sunlight for 2. G'day, my name is Joe Gerba. Welcome back to Spirit Island Sunday, where we'll be going over River Surges in Sunlight. So first things first, this character really, or this spirit, really enjoys the wetlands. So all these blue spaces on the board. If you have a presence on that space, it actually counts as a ritual site. So it counts as 2 presents. Let's go over some of these growth options that this character has. We can do the classic reclaim card, gain a power card, and gain an energy. We'll have to be doing that quite a bit, mainly because the cost of the cards are kind of low for River. The next option is we can add presences that are 2 away, so we can really start to expand. We can add 2 presences a turn, which is a very nice option, especially during the beginning of the game where we want to get as many of these tokens off our board and open up our energy and card play as much as we can. The last one is also gain a power and put a presence out. Now this is a pretty good one too, where if you really need to get somewhere quickly, if you really want to, get another wetlands out there potentially, you can put 1, 2 away and gain a power card. So let's look at the actual presence tracker. You're going to gain energy kind of slow, but with the presence out there, once you get to the 4th one, you'll have 4 energy a turn, and that'll be plenty coming in. Now the cards will take you a little bit longer. You'll at least have to take in 3 presents to get that 3 card play per turn. And this one actually, out of all the base sets that we've seen so far, this one has an interesting one. The 4th presence on the card play track is actually a reclaim one. So at the beginning of your turn, or when you choose your option, you'll be able to reclaim an extra card. So you won't have to do this reclaim cards as often, and can really be a good boon if there's a single card that you drew or power, or one that really can benefit you almost every turn. Now let's talk about the innate powers. The innate powers on this one are very interesting. It needs to be 1 away from a ritual site. So remember, your wetlands that you just have 1 presence on is considered a ritual site. You can push a single settler or a town. And for just 2 card plays, which you may have at the beginning, you can really hinder growth. So you can really push a town or a settler out of some lands to prohibit growth. This can be very beneficial at the beginning of the game. The next one is, instead you do 2 damage, and then you can push people out. So if there's a big group of cluster, you can do some damage and then kind of push them out. Can be really good to knock out a town and move a settler out. And then the next one is just great. However, you're going to need 4 cards and pretty specific cards to do 2 damage to each invader. Now these don't stack. This is an instead, where some of these other innate powers do stack. So let's see a little bit about the starting cards. So the first card we're going to talk about is this Boon of Vigor. It's a really neat card where it costs 0. It's a fast card, and if you target yourself, you can just gain an energy. That's great. And if you target another spirit, they can gain an energy per power card they played. So with somebody slower who may need a lot more power, this is just a, here, have some energy. So later during the game, in the mid game, I can see this being a super powerful card, especially if they've played 3 cards and you can give them 3 power for next turn. This is a great card just to get that energy production up. Now it will cost you, a card to play it, and you're not really doing much but aiding the other player, but this is a great card. So the second card we're going to talk about is the River's Bounty. Now we do have to target a space that we have our presence in, and we'll be able to gather 2 to hand. What's interesting about this one is if we gather 2 to hand, and now there are at least 2 to hand there, we can add a to hand and we gain an energy. So not only do we gain a little bit of energy, but this is a way to add to hand to the board. And the Dahan are kind of a finite resource with some spirits, and if you don't draw the right power cards. And the Dahan are one way to get rid of a lot of these invaders. So being able to add more Dahan to the board for future is a great way that this card can really be beneficial. Now, in the early game, this may just give you some extra Dahan, give you some extra energy, but once again, you're not really preventing too much work around the board. So kind of an odd card to have, but definitely a beneficial one. The third card we're going to talk about is Wash Away. Now, Wash Away is another slow card, and it's kind of used just like our Innate Power, where one space away from one of our presences, we're able to push up to 3 settlers or a town. Once again, this can prevent growth, and then preventing that growth then prevents a ravage on the following round. So it's a big ripple effect. Pushing somebody this round prevents growth and then prevents the ravage, and which can really be, it can compound on each other. Even though this may seem like a little bit of a dud, this is a great power, especially played after the invaders get to go. Now, once again, you aren't really taking invaders off, but you're preventing future disasters that could happen. So the last card I want to talk about that we have in the starting hand are Flash Floods. It's 2 and a fast power. You can do 1 immediate damage, and if the target land is a coastal, so near one of the coasts, does an extra damage. So it can not immediately knock out a town. It can knock out a settler very fast. This is one of those, if you have a power at the end of the game and you have that reclaim, this is one of those great cards that you can almost use to every turn knock out, plink off 1 settler at a time. So an interesting card, will cost 2 energy, the highest in the game, but it is a fast action. And 2 energy, highest in the game for you starting. So that's a fast action. It's kind of neat. All your cards cost a total of 3, so you'll definitely be able to play it. Energy is not as important until later in the game. So let's talk about the aspect of the sunshine. This is just a different aspect that you can use instead of the massive flooding. This lets you have extra energy production for you and your buddy. And here's the aspect of travel, where it can move Dahan around your lands. Kind of interesting. Can move the complexity up. Kind of a hard place to use this, but another option if you want to use this. So let me give you my final thoughts on the River Surges in Sunlight. I actually really enjoy this spirit. It's my favorite spirit out of the starting box that they give you. I think being able to move some of the settlers before they get a chance to act, the manipulation, the moving of stuff, and being able to control the board is very big with this spirit. It's innate powers. Once you get rolling, if you get some good draws from the card deck, some 0 draws, and you can play a lot of cards each turn. It's just it's satisfying to be able to move, prevent growth, really manipulate where the Dahan are, so you can pick off that 1 settler that's going to ravage, who won't do any blight, but who can, the Dahan will take care of. It's a really, to me, this is kind of a medium complex character. I think the pushing is great, especially in the early game and the mid game. The problem with this character is with this spirit is it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So you'll be able to maybe pick one off and manipulate, for future turns. That's great. However, it can also be kind of a burden that you can't physically, do all this damage and remove these cities. Cities are going to be kind of the burden of River Surges in Sunlight, where you have a whole lot of things that can do 2 damage here, 2 damage here. However, you have a lot of trouble trying to get those 3 damaged cities down. So I really like this spirit. I like the manipulation. I like the moving. I like the complexity of going, I have a lot of options this turn, but I have a couple slow actions that we need to wait until the invaders have gone to see what exactly we need to do to maximize our chance. So this is a really fun spirit. I like this one a lot. I'll never say no to this one. The different aspects are okay, but the massive flooding, the innate power is really neat for me. So that's it for today. That's it for this Spirit Island Sunday, and until next time.